we'll talk a little bit of signing day.
Okay.
Wrapping things up with the
It's an easy sign day. They didn't sign them.
Been an easy day. So the kids already been here for quite a bit of time. Then we'll transition a little bit into spring ball since that starts on Friday. So, but just talk to us a little bit about the completion of this portion of the signing class with the transfers and how they've already done the last couple of weeks since they've been in school.
Yeah, we obviously today is the second National Signing Day, and we did have 3 young people choose to join us today. Weston Woodard from LCA, who's an outstanding player, state champion. We're excited about him. He's going to play defensive line, defensive end for us. And then we are bringing in 2 kickers / punters, Sam Crossan from Redline Christian Academy and Caleb Willis from Apex. Those guys today, joining our team officially. Beyond that, nobody else was signed. On this day, we obviously had 10 high school signees, or actually 13 high school signees on 14, on regular December. 10 of them are here already. And then we had 13 total JUCOs and / transfers that are with us right now. So we have a total of 23 new players that are on our roster currently right now that just joined us January 15th, and they're part of our early enrollees and are getting ready for spring practice. Out of that, we had 2 high school DBs, 1 high school defensive lineman, 1 high school inside linebacker, 2 high school offensive linemen, quarterback, running back, and 2 high school tight ends. And with our transfers, we had 2 defensive backs, 2 defensive linemen, 3 inside linebackers, 2 offensive linemen, a quarterback, 2 receivers, and another kicker punter. So excited about the group that are here. We've obviously not seen them on the field, but from their work ethic they've shown, from who they are from a fit standpoint, it's been great. The first 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks now that they're here, and obviously Friday we'll get a chance to see what they look like in helmets and in pads, and see the things they need to improve on to have a chance to compete and put their best foot forward. But anytime you can bring 23 new people in with the way the portal is and all the different things that you deal with now, it's big for us from a depth standpoint, and also from a development standpoint. You continue to develop, and guys leave, hopefully you got somebody there. Guys get injured, hopefully you got somebody there. You got to always constantly plan that. So any questions on the spring ball you want to talk about, or not spring ball, the signees?
Well, going off of that, how beneficial is it to get these guys in spring to really get them acclimated, not only to your culture, but to the system as well?
I think it's hugely beneficial. We talk a lot about it in our recruiting period. Anybody that you're going after, if they can be an early enrollee, I mean, it's worth its weight in gold. Because of where college football is now, and just the challenges of managing your roster. Anybody that you can sign up, over there, you get a chance. You hope you can get longer than a semester. You just never know, but you got them at least a semester to implement, and especially with the young guys that this is the first time away from home. I think acclimating to college is challenging, whether you're a student athlete or just a normal student. And when you can come in the spring, when there's no pressure of a game, there's no pressure of a depth chart, when you're homesick and you still drive home, I think they transition easier. It's not easy, but it's an easier transition from just an overall aspect. And then obviously they get a chance to get right into football and learn. So it's hugely beneficial from there. And then obviously with a junior college or a transfer, you're expecting those guys to come in that have played already at other places and pushing for playing time. And so for them to be able to come in and learn a system, you've seen them play at the college level or junior college level, so they've been in college level type games. You need them now to learn the system, and so that's been beneficial.
You having been here a year, how did that change the way you went into the portal this season as opposed to what you were trying to do a year ago?
Well, this year, at least you anticipated the majority of it. You knew the kids, and you'd already had a plan at least to know who you were losing or you might be losing, and how to handle it in the position. So you feel like you're way ahead, at least organizational wise. Hey, we already think this is happening, so we already have people in place and different. Hardest part about I think with the portal piece of it is, hey, we know we're losing this position and we need to fill that position, but you got to sort of wait through to see how many are coming in the portal from that position. Like maybe it's outside long snapper. I'm going to use that as a term. As a long snapper, but there's only 4 long snappers instead of in high school you got tons of them. That's the challenge. I think once you know the position of need. But our coaches were ahead of that, and I think they did a really good job of knowing exactly the areas that we needed help on. And there's still more. You obviously can't fill all your spots. But knowing the plan and knowing who to expect to leave and having really a 6-month jump start on it was very beneficial. So at least you knew what you needed to do, and we weren't scrambling and flying people from everywhere just to try to figure it out. We had a good day. It's still hard. It's speed dating, which you're used to. It's still speed dating. It's hard just trying to get people to know in a short amount of time, right? And so that's the hardest challenge, I think, from a portal standpoint. Like the high school guys, you got a lot of chance to develop relationships with the portal transfer guys. It's a short amount of window, and you're trying to get to know them. They're trying to get to know us, and you think you have an understanding. You really don't till they're here. You can talk to coaches and all that. And so I do think we hit on some, we hope, good players, but I do really think from a transfer standpoint, we hit on some guys that are good people as well, and that, fit what we're trying to do here.
Looking at the portal kids, it seemed like linebacker was really a position of emphasis. You're getting Jackson, Vaughn, and Brown there. Obviously had a relationship with Brown previously, but how important was that position, and was that something that you wanted to make sure you got multiple guys that could potentially come in and play immediately?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the linebacker room is probably our most challenging as far as just depth, people that can play, and then having something you can build off of. And so Jamar and Taylor both have played a good amount of football. They are both one-year guys, and so you wanted to we lost some guys that played quite a bit, so you want some guys that come in that had experience. But also we're trying to build some depth in there. What do I mean by depth? Hopefully guys that come in and push for playing time, but also have multiple years. Now multiple years, God bless you, multiple years right now. I mean, as the portal goes, they could be here a semester in league. We know that. But if you have somebody that has multiple years and maybe not quite ready where they need to be, but they can develop and they're there already, and they've been in your program, that helps tremendously. And linebackers is one of the rooms where we just don't have a lot of overall depth. We've lost some players in the portal, young kids in the portal. From that standpoint, obviously a lot of us last year that had some years, and so that's been a challenge to try to navigate high school and bringing in enough guys that can play. We found some one-year guys that we feel confident about. It's been harder to find the 2- and 3-year guys, and so that's a big emphasis. But I'm excited about that. If you look at that, counting Caden, our high school has 4 linebackers that came in. They're going to get a lot of opportunities, which is huge. And then we've got another high school kid coming in this summer. So from that standpoint, now you've got 2 young guys, 3 if you count. You count Aiden. Aiden's got 3+ years left, so that gives you some depth where you hope you're not constantly having to go after one-year guys all the time. That's just hard to do. And so we feel good about the ones we hit this year for sure. Taylor, Jamar are great people, good players, and fit right in. But you hope you can get out of that eventually.
Coach, you got a couple online here. Ed's got his hand up twice, so it must be twice as good. Ed, go ahead, ask your first question.
Twice as good is certainly a stretch and an exaggeration, Nick, but I appreciate the kind words. Coach, if you would take us through the schedule for spring practice and the spring game, just from more of a traditional sense, and this is obviously as an outsider, those things often are a March to April time frame. Give us your mindset and what you guys are aiming to accomplish with the schedule you have for that.
Well, for us, we'll start Friday, Saturday, our helmet practices, and then we're Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday for 3 weeks. And then the last week leading up to the spring game on March 2nd. That'll be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Friday will be a helmet practice. And so, the same objectives that you always have for every spring is out there. Main reason, there's a couple reasons that we like to do spring early. One, you get up to 2 hours a week now with your players. This has been ongoing a couple, 2 or 3 years now, where you can spend up to 2 hours video and on the field work with them. And so I'm a big believer in, I want to know what we're not good at, and then we can really harness it, or not harness, but really focus in on what we need to improve on. And so we get spring ball done March 2nd. We go to spring break the following week, the week after that. We've got 14 opportunities to go back out, not in pads or anything, but within that time frame of the NCAA rules, and really work on the things through spring ball that, hey, we're pretty good at this. We can continue to develop that, but these are areas we must improve in. From a development standpoint, I believe you develop better when you know what you need to work at instead of just doing it, and then you go figure it out in late April, and then you go break for a month. And so that's been a big piece. I think secondly, if you look at it from a long term of a training concept, you get done in March. Now we have from March all the way to August before we get back to fall camp from a training cycle for our players to really bulk up and develop without a break in there from a practice standpoint that breaks it up. And then thirdly, if there ever is an injury of some sort that's a major injury, you get a strong chance of getting somebody back sooner rather than later. And then maybe there's a chance for them to come back and play 4 games or 5 or 6, depending on the championship and some of the different stuff bowl game wise. And so there is a benefit to that as well. Now it is cold, but hey, you don't have to show up either.
Dave Walls, SET online as well, had one. Dave, go ahead.
Good morning, Coach. It's certainly been a month since the Fiesta Bowl. What's this month been like as far as the reaction from people, not only the portal, but those who were considered signing with LU, seeing the advanced, the extra visibility you got from playing on New Year's Day, and then just trying to get everything set for practices that begin in February? How much of an extra toll did that take with your coaching staff trying to turn this thing around very quickly?
Well, they'll probably tell you it took quite a bit. The coaches would, as far as the toll there, because you get back January there, and then you're right into portal, and then school starts, and then you're right on the road recruiting. So they've not had tons of time to be prepared. And one of the great things, Dave, is that we've been together a while, so we know what we're, from a standpoint, we know what we expect, what we're doing. So there is a sense of urgency around that, but we'll be ready for that. I think some of the portal guys, definitely knowing the season you had, that definitely you're on the radar more now. I think where we've really seen that is with our high school recruiting. We've had 2 junior days in the month of January there, and the last last Saturday was. I think that might have been early February 1st maybe. We had tremendous prospects on campus, and probably the best collection of high school kids on campus that we've ever had in my experience. And that's a big part because of the season, because of the exposure to the Fiesta Bowl. Yes, I think more people in the portal know about us, but it's really taken off from a high school standpoint of getting people on campus and us being able to show off Liberty.
Thank you.
What position group are you most eager to see and look into?
That's a good question. I think I'm anxious to see the 2 young quarterbacks that we had. We've got 2 obviously been here, Nate and Kate, but I'm anxious to see the 2 young ones and see how they are. Receivers, I think a big question mark. We've got some young talent there now. Are they willing to step up from that standpoint offensively? And I think on the defensive side of the ball, we've got to see what happens from a linebacker standpoint. These guys coming in, where do they fit? And then the battle to me on the other there's corner. We lost 2 corners that were starters to other institutions, and so the guys that are here currently, and then the guys that have sort of been waiting in the wings, now's their chance to really take off. And so those are, to me, are some battles that I'm really paying attention to, because that's where your biggest development needs to happen, because we need those guys to really step up. Because if they do, then maybe you don't have to go shopping in May, right? Maybe you can just cook with what you have, right? And so, but if it doesn't happen, then then you're looking at some other opportunities there.
Is Reese healthy, receiver?
He's close. He won't be doing a lot during spring, because he got injured in the summer there. His rehab's been going great, but he won't do a lot, from that standpoint. I think he can probably do some individuals and things, but he won't be in any actual team stuff.
You mentioned the 2 young quarterbacks. Talk about Jaden, obviously back in December, but getting Ryan out of App State, originally from Myrtle Beach. I assume you had a little bit of relationship with him in high school, but what was it about him that kind of drew your interest and wanted to try to get him here?
Well, we did know him from high school, recruiting him pretty heavily. He obviously chose the institution that he went to. And so, but we had a good relationship, and he ended up actually earning the starting job and got hurt there. So redshirted and then got hurt. And so he's somebody that we knew was high character. We knew that has the capability of being a leader from the quarterback room. And also, as you're planning, you're always trying to be prepared in case you lose somebody to injury. And it was good to have somebody that has some experience, that has been in college and played some games. Because it's hard to get anybody with experience if you have a return quarterback. Nobody wants to sit the bench, right? And so, but to have a young guy like him that did earn an opportunity, that has played some in college games, that's been through college ball, to have that as somebody that can compete, to try to push Caden opposite, but also with Jaden and our young guys. Jaden's never been in college, so how's he going to respond to all those things? You need some guys that have been there, done that, to sort of lead the way for him a little bit.
Receiver Dante Lee played at a lower level, but put up a lot of good numbers, All-American status, and he was a guy that was heavily sought after in the portal. What do you hope to see out of him as he kind of transitions to FBS ball?
I think with him, he does have. If you watch that video, he's very talented. If you walk through here, he'd catch your eye because he's a long, good-looking athlete. He's got speed. The challenge for him is this is a different level from a strength standpoint, and that's the area where he has to get better. As far as on the field, guys in his face, he's not going to be better than just run by him. They're going to have good guys, and so learning how to use the body that he's been given. But he needs to step up. Obviously, we have a need at our X position. Where a lot of our plays were made last year. We need somebody to be able to step up, and he will be brought in to compete with some of the current guys we have. They're getting excited about it. And I think for him, the challenge will be he's confident. All right, if he struggles a little bit, which because from a strength standpoint he probably will some, versus getting in there after every day, learning how to practice every day, learning how to show up. He's got to keep that confidence, continue to build that trust. But from a talent standpoint, we really like what he's got. And then now we'll go through spring with him. All right, this is what he's got to improve, and we can get those other opportunities to help get him better, and that's our job. And so somebody that we think, without seeing him here yet, but just what we've seen so far, has got a bright future.
Several kickers that you brought in here, is that looking like kind of an open competition going into this year, and how excited are you to see that?
Yes, it is. I am. You want to see our guys that we currently have. You want to see them improve. They're talented, but it's some inconsistency, right? And so you bring in competition to push and allow guys to strive to be the best version of themselves. We needed competition there, and so we got some young guys that won't be here till the fall, which is fine. But obviously we brought in Colin Carr. He was a really nice kicker at North Greenville University. Shout out to the Crusaders, and did a nice job there. So somebody that won some games for him on big kicks and some different things, and so somebody that dreamed of playing and having the opportunity to play at this level, and he obviously saw an opportunity here, and so we're excited about adding him to the mix that we always have in Nick and Braden, and so go out there and compete. And you got Max at punters. We got some good returning weapons, but you guys watch this. We were inconsistent. And the thing that you need to have is we need to have some consistency there. And so that's exciting.
Health-wise, just going into spring ball, any other notable guys that either are limited or aren't going to be able to go?
So Reese is limited. Vic Jones is still limited. Jordan White had surgery, off-season surgery, so he'll be very limited in the spring. He might get some later on. Bentley Henshaw will miss spring. Austin Anderson, offensive line freshman offensive lineman, had shoulder surgery. He'll miss spring. Austin Henderson, our tight end, he's so banged up from a knee, he'll probably be limited in spring. Let's see, anybody else? Todd, you might want to grab him, tell him we're in here.
What about a guy like Cooley? Will he be limited in spring?
It could be limited, not necessarily because of injuries, just because like what we have to do as coaches is right. Who are guys that had a lot of opportunities, a lot of reps, and then you limit their opportunities in the spring because other guys need them. James Horner needs to get a bunch of reps because he needs to take that next step. Cooley and Billy, they're going to work some individual. They'll work some things because they need to stay sharp. They're not going to get the bulk of it because they did a lot during the season, right? And so there's certain people that I don't want to say on a pitch count, but you're going to say, all right, hey, you've got enough here. We need these other guys to get some work in some of those things. But those are guys. I'm trying to think about defense that we're missing. That I should have had the report in front of me. That is going to be limited. I believe. Chris Body will be out for spring. He had shoulder surgery as well. I think he's one of those things, so he'll be out for sure. What
about a word or a theme? Do you have one?
So our word for the year is pursue.
And that'll carry into fall.
That's our word for the year is pursue, and we're pursuing each other. We're pursuing connection. We're pursuing Jesus. We're pursuing excellence. We're pursuing greatness. We're pursuing being a champion. You're always pursuing something, and so that's going to be our word for the year.
How much different is it for you this year going into spring practice compared to last year when you'd only been here a couple of months?
Well, one, I mean, I know everybody, which is a positive. I mean, and you're more comfortable, and they're more comfortable in who we are and what we're doing. And so, just from that standpoint, I mean, you feel way better. We know, obviously, there's a lot of new guys. We're still learning, but you know the majority of it. They know what your culture, they know what your expectations are. Now, they're still young people, so they still fly by the seat of their pants half the time, right? And so you still have to every day water your culture and make sure you're protecting that. But we have a great understanding of work and how we need to produce that work and the expectation, which is great. And so now, to me, it's continuing to develop and raise the mindset you're in, right? I think it's natural when you have a great year for the guys that played a lot of return, right? And then you got the young guys that are hungry, right? Which is great. I got to make sure we're all still hungry, still pursuing something special, right? Not relaxing a little bit. So I think that's the natural thing. Sometimes when guys have good years, they think, well, I'll be right, and they want to stop a little bit. I'm not saying our guys have, but that's the natural reaction when you do something good. You get an enemy, you relax a little bit, right? Or you want to know, right? It makes sense like you want to keep going after something. And so pursue. And so that's why that works pursue. And so, but our coaches are way more comfortable. They know the scheme now. They understand that. They know the expectations. Our defense, they know that. Because last year we obviously had changed after spring from a defensive standpoint. So I'm excited about where we go to. Like, we can be way better next year. I think so. That doesn't mean we be as good as the record was. But I do think we've lost some good players. But I do think we've got a lot of young guys that are excited. So I think we have a chance to maybe be better. We'll see how that goes. Again, that guarantee we'll be better on the field, but just better overall in the things that we need to focus on. We did lose 2 analysts, so people are aware of that. Josh Caraway, a special teams analyst, he went to Western Illinois to be the special teams coordinator. Will Peruta went to be the defensive coordinator at Mississippi College. Also took one of our GAs with him, Jordan McDonald. So we're excited about those guys. They're excited about the opportunity they had. And then Tyler Chadwell, one of our offensive analysts, has got an opportunity to pursue a job back close from home in Charlotte. So we're excited about him. So we'll be replacing those guys here, hopefully sooner rather than later, just so everybody understands that.
Got one more online here from Ed.
Coach, the turnaround as well, you kind of gave some information out a moment ago about players that played a lot, like Quentin Cooley and others, where the load may be reduced for load management in the springtime. What else have you guys done? This is an end of the season that ended for a good way, obviously, but ended later than normal with a quick turnaround of about a month from that to the start of practice. What else have you guys done from the Fiesta Bowl to now to make sure your guys are as fresh as possible while also getting on the field and learning on the fly?
We've trained. I mean, they got the January 1, the game was over, and we got back to school January 15th. They started January 16th. So all the science that our athletic trainers and our strength coaches, that 2-week period there where they did nothing was plenty enough time to sort of heal. And then you get their body back into some football conditioning shape over the last 4 weeks leading up to the Saturday. And so they're ready to rock and roll. Now, are they going to be as fresh? I don't know. That's up to them, truthfully. But from our studies, it's ample amount of time for them to be ready to go back and hit again.
Anything else for Coach? All right, Coach. Thanks
Thank
for your
you.
time.